What's up, hustlers? Today we got a guy that we've been trying to get on for a while now. Very excited to have him on the show. Shane, how are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good. Owner of Shoeshine Shack. We're going to get right in to talk about his business. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's downtown by Rogers, right?
Yeah, by Mercer Warehouse on the corner of 104th Avenue and 104th Street in the Mercer Warehouse.
Yeah. First question of the day, I think we're going to get right off, is when you first started Shoeshine Shack, how old were you?
Shoeshine Shack, I started in 2018, so I'm 29 now. I would have been 26.
Yeah. And you went from there, what got you into the whole shoe business and cleaning shoes?
That's a good question, and I get that almost once a week for the last 4 years. It is kind of random for somebody to be running a shop like we're running and to see the success that we did. But what essentially happened was I have a civil engineering background specializing in quality assurance, quality control in oil and gas. I did that since 2014.
Wow.
So I could feel the downturn in oil, 2015, 2016. I could feel the downturn in oil arising. I got
focus. Hey,
it went to shit. I had to shift and it went to shit. So what happened was I was living in Fort McMurray and my company transferred me to Fort St. John, BC to work on a dam project for BC Hydro. So I think I was probably one of the only people that was working out of the city and then flying back into Fort McMurray on days off. It was just completely backwards. So whenever Fort McMurray burnt down, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to move out of Fort McMurray. And then where was the closest place to Fort Mac while still being in Alberta was Edmonton. Yeah. So I ended up moving to the city completely by myself. I didn't know anybody. I just didn't really want to give up on the Alberta dream and move back to New Brunswick.
Right.
With a civil engineering technology degree and not much experience, you don't have that many job opportunities in New Brunswick like Alberta. So I ended up moving to just beside Rogers Place, actually, where Shoeshine Shack started in 2017. It started at the end of 2017 as a home-based business, and then once 2018 hit, I opened up the shop.
Full time, right?
So whenever I first started Shoeshine Shack in my condo in 2017, I was still working as a heavy equipment operator.
Right.
So that's kind of my background, is heavy equipment and the quality assurance. So I kind of do both of them. And then whenever I first started, I was doing the laboring. So I kind of seen from the laboring to the machine operating to signing off on the projects. But with feeling the downturn in oil, I started thinking of opening a business. That was in November 2017, so towards the end of the year in 2017. So I have a notebook. My father's the same way. He always has a schedule or to-do list, and I've always kind of followed suit.
Exactly.
So the reason why I wanted to start a business was I was doing like I said, the heavy equipment, the laboring, the machine operating, and it seemed like whenever the project was finished, even if I was a really, really good employee, which I was, if there was no more work, I would get laid off, and I was kind of getting fed up of that happening. So I started thinking about business ideas. I had a bunch of them written down, from lawn care to pickup and delivery to lawn to cleaning houses, writing a bunch of ideas down. And I knew I was going to execute on something because I had some money in the bank. I passed engineering school, so I had the confidence to do it. And once I got laid off, then I had the time.
Yeah.
So what happened was in November of 2017, I had all these shoes that I needed cleaned, and I just went through a breakup, and I was kind of thinking to myself, what the fuck am I doing in Edmonton, but should I just leave? What am I doing here? So instead of just sitting there and feeling bad about myself and pitying myself, I decided to do some yoga. I love doing yoga. I love getting centered. I love meditating. I think it's so important, especially all ages. I think that in school and I think everybody should try to meditate, yoga, the gym, at least one of the above. If you can even do two, that's even better.
Let me ask you a question, because I've tried yoga and it is the hardest thing. I'm going to give you my balance. It's not there. So how long did it take you to get good at it, start doing some crazy poses and stuff?
So funny thing is I've never been in a yoga class in my life, but I've done yoga for 10 years.
Wow.
I only do yoga at home, and it's Yoga with Adrian on YouTube. She has 30-day yoga challenge. You just do one a day. I do it about 3 to 5 times a week, and it just really, really centers you, and you're able to make better decisions. And sometimes things, if you have some issues that you're having a hard time to figure out, sitting there and getting grounded and getting some blood flow through your body and through your brain and everything else, sometimes it just clicks to you what has to be done, and it's almost like magic. But what it is your intuition, and you can't, they call it the third eye, and it's so extremely important. To circle back around, I went through the breakup. I was sitting in my bedroom and I did some yoga, and then after I was done yoga, I looked at my to-do list. It was nighttime. I was in my condo by myself, and I picked up my to-do list, and I'm going through the items for the following day. And one of the items was to clean all of my shoes. So at the same time, I was trying to set up a business. I had all these businesses written down, but I haven't executed anything because nothing made me excited.
Right.
And when I read that,
you got excited.
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps over my whole body.
Right.
And I flipped the page on my to-do list, and I still got this book. I don't think I'll ever throw this book out because it's such a moment in history, and this story is so vivid for me because I've told it a few times. But what happened was I wrote shoe shine shack. It was the first word. I thought of the idea, and I wrote down shoe shine shack instantly. And then my pen was just flying with lines, and I wrote down every idea that came to my mind, not in any sort of sequence, but just kind of brain farted everything onto the page, everything that was coming to my mind. And the next morning, that night I didn't even want to go to bed. And then the next morning I woke up and I remember jogging to the registry, not even walking, I was running.
No way.
And I registered the name. And from that day there till 4 years later, about 4 years and a month later, I've worked on the business every day.
Wow. Good on you, mate.
That's actually dope. Like, think about that. You had the first idea too, and like the name, because usually like you see businesses go through like ups and downs. They just change their name, but that's crazy that just popped, and it's like you've kept it through for the 4 years. It's pretty dope. So do you think that like when the idea came, were you ever like second guessed yourself, or were you just like, like I'm gonna go all into this, like your mindset wise? Like, how are you feeling?
So I didn't open business to have a corporation and to have staff and to have a store. The reason why I started a business was I felt like after post-secondary, I didn't feel like I was continuing learning all that much. Especially after I specialized in the quality assurance, quality control, I mastered that, and that's kind of what I was stuck at. And I was kind of looking up the ladder, like, what am I working towards? To be a supervisor for civil engineer tech? Am I trying to open a company to do that? And I didn't feel like I wanted to pursue that passion, for forever. So opening a business was, there was 3 main reasons of why I opened a company. The first one was to better myself, to force myself to personally develop, to force myself to learn and continue to learn, which I have,
Really? How so?
The more that you put in to yourself, especially when you run your own business, the more success you'll see.
Exactly right.
Oftentimes when you work for an employer, and this isn't all the time, but often from what I've seen, especially working in oil and gas, you just have to kind of show up. You have to just go show up, and you're still going to get paid,
regardless of how much work you put in.
So I wanted to struggle just a little bit and to go out and fail. Essentially, that's what we should be doing, is going out and like, what is business about? You always hear people talking about business owners, and they know how taxes work, and they know they're in different meetings and this, that, and the other thing. So the first thing was personal development and forcing myself to do that. The second thing was what we're doing here, was meeting cool, awesome people. Straight up. That was the second thing. And then the third thing was money. And pretty well in that order, because the reason why I was able to get through the trials and tribulations that myself and my team and the company have went through was because money was never the forefront. I had a good paying job. In Fort McMurray and Fort St. John, BC. So it wasn't about the money. It was about what I felt like I was lacking, where I was living in a cubicle much smaller than this living room that we in. I would say a small little trailer, and you'd have to go down the hallway to shower, and it was a bunch of showers, and even to use the bathroom, go down the hallway. and whenever the job's finished, you might get laid off right off the bat. So I just felt like I couldn't do that for the rest of my life. So why invest any more than the 9 years that I've already invested in my life doing that?
No, fair point though.
No, I think that makes sense, because I think as like when you're an employer, I mean, it's more like money should never be first when you're starting a business. I think that's where you actually fail.
And if it is, it fails. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because if you keep money first as a motive to actually start a business, then you'll definitely fail. I think that's my belief. I mean,
100%.
It has to be more about fulfillment, purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Freedom. I think freedom is a big word when it comes to business. To me, it's like you have the freedom to do whatever you want, and like it just makes life so much more simpler.
And then the business runs itself at the end of the day.
And it's more of a lifestyle
Yeah.
than working a job that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
Running a business, especially at the first, it's more of a lifestyle, and I believe that you might have less freedom than an employee. Because as an employee, you have days off, and there you do have freedom. But for the first 3 years in business, I barely took a week off for the first 3 years.
But you also don't want to, right? You don't feel like taking a day off, because it's like again, you're working on, like, you're crafting your own baby in a way, right? You don't have to worry about. It's like your mindset completely shifts because you're not working under somebody or for somebody. So I think it's like it doesn't even seem like work at that point. It's just like you're just doing your own thing, right? So I think that's definitely true. That
exactly. It doesn't feel like laborious work. At the end of the day.
But there definitely is a limit to it. And when I felt the limit was whenever we got broken into in November of last year. So November 2021. We just got through, we got into our new store, the store that you guys were in a couple months ago. Yeah,
nice store. You guys should definitely go check it out. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so beautiful, and I'm so happy that we made the decision to. It's kind of a gamble, right? To get a bigger space and to invest the time and the money and the energy into building it out. And you're kind of like, well, are more people going to come or not? And doubling our sales since we built the new store and upward and onward, it was definitely the best. The best decision that we possibly could have made, and if we would have stayed in the original shop, we would be so capped out right now that we would have had to expand or close down, because we're actually on the verge of outgrowing the new store. To be totally honest,
that's good to hear for sure. Yeah.
In regards to storage, right, between the dirty shoes and then into the clean and then into the finish is kind of three categories that we're dealing with here. But we pretty well got that whole back section maxed out, so we're trying to mitigate that issue now, finding some more space again.
How are you looking to fix that problem at the end of the day, though?
So there's multiple different ways that we're looking at fixing that issue. Infrastructure, like I was saying, so installing the most shelving that we possibly can fit in that shop, and we're almost there. Like I said, there's three different categories when you look at shoes. So whenever you drop off your shoes that's dirty, it goes into a dirty section. We have a complete wall from the floor to the ceiling full of dirty shoes, and then we have another section, it's clean shoes. So you take the dirty shoe, you wash it, you have to dry it. So we have a section of shoes that are washed, that are ready to be finished. And then whenever you come into the shop, kind of behind where we stand, we have all those shoes in the back there, and those are finished shoes. So just maximizing the store out with shelving, which we just have. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we just installed the last bit of shelving. We're not really able to fit any more into it. We're looking at a little bit more space that's still downstairs close to the shop. We're in talks with management now,
just around the corner,
where the bathrooms are. The men's and women's washroom, just to the right of the women's washroom. We're looking at getting that space there. We're going to start building it out.
That'd be nice.
And do all of our dirty work in there, which is all of the sanding, all of the leather luster that we do for the military boots, and then keep extra dirty shoes, and if we need some inventory in there, we should be able to fit it in as well.
That's a good point. So how did you end up scaling from back in 2018 to where it is now?
That's a good question. I wish I knew. Grinding. I remember when I first started, I didn't know if anybody was going to come to Shoe Shine Shack, because I was running it as a home-based business. I had like 50 followers on Instagram whenever I opened up a store. Like there was just nobody even knew who I was. But remember that list that I was telling you guys about, that I wrote all the ideas on the piece of paper?
The book, right.
I checked those all off as a home-based business. I checked every single one of them off. I had the website, I had products, I had an Instagram, I was doing this, that, I had a business bank account. And so I checked off every item, and then I was like, shoot, now what am I going to do? Do I want to start up a YouTube page? How's that going to work? Do I want to start up this, that, or the other thing? And living at the location that I was living at across from Rogers Place, you know, it's where the shop is now, right? I was living west of Rogers Place, and I moved. The store now is in Mercer Warehouse, so right across the road.
Perfect location. Hey.
Dude,
Yeah.
The shop opened at 11. I could leave home at 10:55 and still make it.
That's the best.
Walking.
Walking.
But I guess the way that we scaled since day one, you know, whenever I was writing the business plan of Shoe Shine Shack, the main word to describe the company as a whole was always quality. And I told myself, you know, if we can't produce quality in what we're trying to do, then something's going to have to give. Whether it's our turnaround times are going to have to push back, whether it's pricing, whatever it's going to be. But the one thing that I don't want to drop is the quality.
Exactly.
So since day one, I remember calling my mom, I think it was after day 2 of being open. And I remember calling her up because she was very skeptical of me leaving civil engineering to go clean sneakers.
Oh, she wasn't liking the idea. Hey.
She changed the topic, bro. I was talking to her on the phone. I was like, "Hey, mom, I thought of a new business idea. You know, I'm going to clean shoes." And she switched the topic. She jumped over to what she was doing at work. And I remember telling dad, like, I don't think mom was happy with my idea. But, you know, mom now, she's one of my biggest supporters, and you know, she just loves it now, and she's so happy, and my dad's so happy too that I did this, right? I don't think there wasn't anybody that was like, yo, that's a great idea. I was really the only one that believed in my vision and what I was going to do, and the work that I was going to put behind it, and the attention to quality that I love, and wanting quality customer service, and the list goes on when it comes back to quality. And I called my mom up the second day after we were open, and I said, "Mom, I think I'm onto something."
Yeah.
I said, between yesterday and today, you know, there was already, you know, X amount of customers through the door, and individual business owners down in Mercer Market, down the hallway where I'm at now, they were coming to my store and saying,
like, what do you got going on here?
You're busy. Like, what's going on? Because even they were doubting me. They're, you know, the business owners that were down there are now my friends, but they were telling me, yo, when you first moved down here, we thought you were fucking nuts, man. To be shining shoes and cleaning sneakers, even the business owners, my parents, everybody doubted. But what it was people, I think, could feel that I cared, that I was really, it wasn't about the money. It was about me getting better at my craft, you know, and getting better at customer service. And just sitting there and grinding, and every day getting a bit better and a bit better.
But I gotta tell you, when I walked in there, gave you my Nikes, they came back brand new.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pristine. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been there a while ago. It's been like over 2 years. I probably don't remember me, but I came like 2 kicks too, and then they came out awesome. Like, I think my Concords I bought from the shop, and I bought them from like what's that event that happened for shoes? I forget. Soul
What
Good.
was the giveaway?
Soul Good.
Oh,
No,
yes,
Soul
yes.
Good, right? I bought them from there, and they needed to be cleaned, and I came right there the first time, and I got them clean, and since then they've been. I'm actually due to get my shoes cleaned too, but yeah,
I got you.
Yeah,
Dude,
no,
for
I'm
you invite me
definitely
over
gonna be
here, I got you.
No, because definitely I think that's it's hard to actually keep, because like you spend so much, like if you're a sneakerhead that's interested in sneakers, you spend so much money on sneakers, you actually want to maintain them, right? Because you don't get the same pair again
They have
for the
to
same
look dead
price,
stock.
right? So like
They have
you
to.
always want to. I make sure I clean them on a consistent basis, so to get to the point. But I haven't been keeping up with that. But I think that's actually an awesome business, because I think people that actually care about their shoes, keeping them clean, and don't want to spend money on this like I have some expensive shoes, and I wouldn't want them to get dirty and buy them again. So I think that's an awesome business. Honestly, I respect that you actually took that step, because I think there was I definitely think there's a market for something like that, because there's so many people that spend money like crazy amount of sneakers.
100%.
Right?
When my
So-
shoes get dirty, I want them to be clean. I don't want to go buy another pair.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
Easy to go
Exactly.
get them clean. Maybe I'm busy that day. The prices weren't outrageous at all. I just go in, drop it
yeah,
off.
it's
Easy.
worth it, definitely.
And whenever we started the company, there wasn't as much supply issues. The economy wasn't as really bad as it is now. COVID wasn't kicked off. And now that we're established, we're wanted more now than ever.
Really? Yeah. You were telling me you guys are almost overwhelmed.
Well, we're at about a 3 to 4 week wait at the moment. And, you know, whenever I first started Shoe Shine Shack by myself, it was a 1 to 2 day wait. And that was by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and now we got 5 staff, and it's at 3 to 4 weeks. So
That's always good.
but what's happening is, you know, there's some clients that are dropping off 10, 20, 30 pairs for one order.
Whoa.
So that's where we're getting pushed back, and we're not vocal about that online. We're actually quite the opposite of vocalizing how busy we are, because for one, I feel as a manager that I need to be managing this, and I'm not proud of it to be 3 to 4 weeks, but I'm also not going to be feeling bad about it anymore either.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because there was a point that whenever I was hitting a week to 2 weeks, I was starting to feel bad about it. And, you know, you have to switch that mindset when you start getting busy. Don't feel bad about that. You
It's a
know,
good sign,
try to mitigate it in some way, whether that's with more staff, more infrastructure, however you have to do. And we do have some ways that we're trying to mitigate it at the moment. But feeling bad about doing great work that people really want, you know, it's just growing pains, and I've been feeling that since day one.
The growing pains. That's a good analogy. I like that analogy. Yeah.
So what was the feeling like when you made your first sale?
Terrible.
Terrible.
It was
Why?
terrible.
Oh, wow.
For sale, though.
It was terrible, bro. It was fucking
Why?
bad.
Tell me about it.
There was 3 gentlemen, and if they're watching this, you know, the gentlemen that walked through the door, they were great.
Okay.
But I didn't know how to shine a shoe when I started Shoe Shine Shack.
Oh shit.
Like, I was referring it to as sneaker cleaning. You know, like some people say, "Oh, you look like you're shining" or whatever. Like a lot of people.
like
I started Shoe Shine Shack as a sneaker cleaning business, but the first customers that I had was 3 gentlemen that wanted shoe shines on the spot. And they were big. One was an influencer that flew in from out of town. Another one was somebody that worked for the city that was showing the influencer around. And another guy, all 3 of them were major important.
Damn.
Here I am. I didn't even.
Go on.
I could barely ring them in.
Wow.
It was just, I was not ready.
Oh wow.
I was not ready. And, you know, if I was able to go back now, I would have done, what I would have done differently was, I was on unemployment. I was making whatever you make on unemployment. I think it's like $900 2 weeks or whatever. So I didn't know that, but there's a course that you can take, and they will let you stay on unemployment to perfect your business.
Interesting.
I didn't know that till I opened my business. And as soon as I opened my business, they cut my unemployment off.
Oh,
So my first month in business, I made $600 in sales because, the prices were not where they should have been. I thought one thing, but it just didn't make sense. And then also with rent being $600, so I think my sales were like 12, but then the rent was 6. So I brought home $600. I would have been well more ahead if I would have stayed on unemployment and kept planning my business. But the manager at the time that was leasing that space told me, he said, you know, you better get in down here. These spaces rent really quick. You might not get a space. So I hurried up and I leased the space, and I wasn't ready. And then whenever I went to file for unemployment, they said, no, like, you're working now, so you're not going to get any more unemployment. And I worked all month very, very hard to make $600 cash when I could have sat on my ass making $1,800 doing nothing.
Push, At the end of it, it's a good thing though if you think about it.
It's a good thing now. It's a good thing now.
Blessing in
But
disguise,
it'd be struggling then to like really get through it, right?
Well, it's hard not to ask, like, yo, what the hell did I do here? Why didn't I just stay on unemployment? And especially when I found out there was a course that would have let me stay on unemployment. You know, that's the only change that I would have made that I think would have, now looking back, things could have been much easier if I had a mentor that could have said, hey, you know, you should really do this. Right. Because once I got in there, I was like, yo, what am I doing, bro?
You think that's a key thing to business, is having mentors?
100%. Find a mentor or mentors. I would say that the word mentor, we're mentoring each other right now. We're learning right now.
Just discussions at the end of the day, you think?
Well, there's different levels to mentors. You know, I have about 3 or 4 mentors. Some of them are more life coach. Some of them are more business. You know, so having a mentor is what you want and how much intention you put behind it. And make that very clear. You know, if you want a mentor, seek out to somebody that is where you want to be, but without not being out of reach. And what I mean by that is, you're not going to have a billionaire mentor. Maybe a billionaire should mentor a millionaire, and then maybe you could have a millionaire a mentor.
Oh, the steps.
You know what I mean? Right. It needs to make sense. But make sure you have a good mentor. Make sure that there needs to be some sort of connection that yous have and that yous can relate. but extremely important to get a mentor that you can bounce ideas back and forth off of.
You're very interested on that subject along Twitter.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that you should have somebody that you look up to and like have like kind of, because I think that if like, especially in the business world, I definitely believe that if you can get somebody to show you how to do it, I mean, that kind of simplifies it a lot more than going and doing it by yourself. Like you said, like earlier we were talking that you can't do everything alone at the end of the day, so you need a team. Even it's a team or somebody that you look up to, somebody that can help you out.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely awesome to kind of have that kind of, even if it's not like a mentor, even if it's like-minded people that are kind of ahead of you in the same age group. I think I've been recently involved in a lot of groups that are just about the same age as me, but they've been taking action instead of just analyzing the situation and worrying about it. And I think that puts me in the right mindset, because it definitely makes me go like, okay, there's no reason that I can't be in the same place at the same age, because like I'm sure different environments, different resources, but that's no excuse. I mean, a lot of people have it worse and they've made it really well, right?
Exactly.
That's why when I carry over the last question is that you said that you started the business and then the first time you had no idea. So I want to talk about how, like, now from where you are, how important do you think it actually is to take action instead of just analyzing? And like, a lot of people get so stuck up in planning and they don't take any action, right? So what do you think about that?
Action. I think that you need to, in business, try to get whatever you're trying to get done as fast as you can. Even with doing that, things will still take a while. In our case, we do service-based work, and we have timelines and deadlines that we have to hit. And if individuals are rushing their orders, those are deadlines that we have to hit. If we told somebody something's going to be ready in 3 days to a week, and if it pushes past that time, it looks really bad on us, because we gave the person our word. So oftentimes what can happen is, if you want to accomplish something, but you have other stuff that you have to do because you've given your word for it, the stuff that you now want to do to grow, you can't, because you're busy doing maybe whatever your business is. In our case, service-based work. For the last 3.5 years, myself and my team, and the way that I've set stuff up, we've been extremely service-based focused. So it's been extremely difficult to do other stuff, as in, build our product line, build how-to videos, make how-to videos, rebuilding the website, because we are often put in a position that we have to be getting stuff done because we've given our word. So I would say try to get stuff done as quickly as you can. And also, you don't know when stuff's going to come up. I think the last time that I was going to be on the podcast, we got robbed the day before. Yeah. So even there, I was like, yo, I want to come out to the Hustlers podcast. These guys are so fucking cool. And it just so happened that we got robbed the day before. And I was like, yo, I don't want to be going on there and representing Shoe Shine Shack and representing myself and chatting with the boys and feeling like my mind is somewhere else. Right. Exactly. So sometimes it's okay to say, let's postpone it. As a favor to myself and a favor to you guys too.
We want to have 100%. That makes sense too. Do you also think that personally, when you start a business, like you said that a lot of people didn't believe in the idea that what you were doing? What was your mindset in that perspective? Because I think that's really hard, because people worry about judgment, right? I think that's the biggest thing. What are people gonna say? And I'm starting this, I'm doing that. You came from like an engineering background, and then you switched completely to that. So how did you deal with that mindset wise? Like, I think that's
your mom and stuff, and like other people, friends, not really liking the idea.
I don't think it's that they didn't like the idea of the business. I think that they just didn't believe in leaving a successful engineering career to start cleaning sneakers. I wasn't showing them the business plan, and also, they don't know 100% what I've seen. And, my mom and dad know that I've always liked fashion, and I was always a talker, and I was always a detail oriented. But even with that, they didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Right.
I think that this day and age, a lot of people will hold their value to how many followers they have and how many likes they have, which
it's people pleasing.
It has to be thrown out the window. It's completely artificial, and I do think that oftentimes why people don't want to start stuff is because of that. I remember before I started the social media, being nervous because I've never showed that creative side of me, because I knew I was trying to create some sort of art on social media, on the website, and this, that, and the other thing. And I've never showed that side of me. Maybe I've dressed a certain way that people could consider artistic, but for trying to create art to put out to the net, I've never done that. And I remember feeling anxious as shit.
Yeah.
And it only
naturally, right?
after like 4 or 5 posts, it was out the door.
Yeah.
And I know it's not just me feeling that way. It's a lot of people to get started, to get off the ground. I'm sure that y'all have felt the same way starting Hustlers podcast.
Yeah.
Now that that's done, you guys can just grind. And people are looking up to you guys like, yo, they know what they're doing. When only a few months ago, you're like, yo, should we do this? We don't know what we're doing. So it's almost like jumping into the pool. You're scared to get cold, jump in the fucking pool and start reaping the benefits of swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we took a long time planning to, and then we realized that we were scared to be on camera and like really get it out there. I mean, none of us are very, like out there, like we're not outgoing as hell either. So like we kind of like we're like, okay, like we're gonna put the cameras on record. For a while, we took a lot of planning. We wasted.
The first few episodes was bad.
It happens, and the same with myself too, being on camera. I don't post a lot of videos of myself yet. We will be creating some videos, but it's not all going to be Shane. And there's a reason why we didn't call it Shane's Shoe Shine Shack. Because I don't have to be front and center. I will set it up, and yes, I'll be on some of them, but I have a team of people that want to do it, and they would love to be getting paid to make some videos. So it's going to be a collective of the entire team. And I just can't wait. It's coming right down the pipe. So it's going to be so exciting to switch gears a little bit and go more towards product selling and e-commerce versus really just pigeonholing ourselves doing all of that service-based work, which we've done for the last 4 years.
So talking about products, tell me about some of your products, because I'm very interested. I see this little shelf in your in your place. It's nice. You got like glue and stuff. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So for products, the Shoe Shine Shack, what it is turning into is a one-stop shop for anything shoes. So if you need a new set of laces, insoles, if you need a shoe tree, a shoe horn, if you want shoe books, if you want...
Shoe books? What's a shoe book?
Well, books related to shoes.
Go on.
All the way from doing the work that we're doing, which is cleaning, polishing, painting. So, if somebody's coming into the shop and they don't want to pay us to do the labor, we can sell them the products. We can sell them the soap. We can sell them the lotions, the waxes, the creams, all of that stuff. So you don't have to pay us to do it.
Do it at home, kind of.
You can do it at home.
Interesting.
And that's what's so exciting is the how-to videos. We're just going to be teaching everybody to do what we do.
Wow, that's actually really good.
And then with the quality that we're bringing to the shoes that we're working on, we want that to be on every level. The website, the videos that we're making, and even the work environment. It's not just we work on shoes and it's good. It's a whole full package. So we're building that foundation, and the floodgates already feel like they're opening, and things are taking off so hard that, we got to be careful with how much workload we're bringing in, because the last thing we want to do is go on the net and say, hey, we're not accepting shoes for the next week because we're over busy. We're trying everything in our power not to do that, but we've came extremely close. And even at the moment right now, we're extremely close to having to do that, just because we can't have shoes all across the floor because we need somewhere to walk, right? Yeah.
So how are you differentiating your products from like other cleaning products right now? Like, what's your plan behind that? Like,
so we don't have our product line purchased yet. What we do have is design being done with our designer, and then we're sourcing multiple different products from different suppliers, and we're also going to be making our own products as well.
Okay,
So the thing is, with small business, at the end of the day, money is always of concern.
Right.
We don't have X amount of millions of dollars in the bank to come up with everything custom, custom blend, custom packaging. So we're going to make things as custom as possible, as true to the brand as possible, while still being able to afford that. And it circles back around to, just getting started. You always want everything to be perfect, and you just have to really just go at it. And we've been pushing it. This should have been in production and out to the world already. But whenever we got robbed at the end of last year, and we got unfortunately we got hit again. that just put a pause on a lot of stuff. So the way that we're going to differentiate our products from other people's products is we're going to stick to our core beliefs. And what that is reducing, reusing, and recycling with minimalist dyes on packaging, minimal packaging, as much recycled materials as possible, and easy to use.
Wow. Okay. That's really good. Yeah.
So where do you go from here? Like you mentioned the new products, but you ever thought about expanding out of Edmonton, opening more stores, franchising? Like, where do you go from here?
Yeah, so the company itself, it's almost completed as a whole. We almost have Shoe Shine Shack maxed out in the sense of systems and what we want to offer as a franchise.
Right.
And that's kind of the key word is we're planning and we're working towards franchising. There's a lot of you can imagine starting a shoe cleaning business, shoe shining, detailing shop, and out of midair. And where do you start? So going through those trials, tribulations, making mistakes, fixing them. We've went through so much of it, and the last parts to maximize the business is launching our new website. It's almost there. I got my creative director. He did the whole entire website, and the quality is just so exceptional comparing to what we have now that's live to what's going to be live hopefully next week. That is just monumental. And then from there is the product line. And then there is how-to videos. And then at that point, a little bit more space. And then just because we feel like with all of what I just listed off, organically, we'll have more service-based work coming through and be moving more product. So we're going to have to chill for a minute. We'll probably push this towards the end of 2022. Make sure everyone caught a break. And then 2023, I think we'll be able to sell independent businesses and work with individuals that want to be opening up whatever size franchise they plan on opening, because it's not a one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all what we're going to be doing. And just to touch on that a little bit, the smallest opportunity could be a shoe shine chair in a busy area. The second size could be potentially a kiosk, with a shoe shine chair and drop off, and then the third size could be essentially what we have now with the full blown store. And
Okay. So with franchising, do you were saying that you want to give people an opportunity to kind of open it up in a busy place and just you want to go ahead with that is what you're saying basically?
Exactly. Yeah. So somewhere's in a busy spot. Where we're at downstairs in Mercer is not an extremely busy place, right?
Right.
But people are still finding us. So I can't wait to see what happens with high traffic.
Would you start the next Shoe Shine Shack in Edmonton, or would you go somewhere else in Canada?
That's my plan.
Yeah.
I do have quite a few people that are interested around Canada. Some in Grand Prairie, some in Toronto, New Brunswick.
Toronto's a good market.
Yeah, it is. So I think I want to be selfish and open it in Edmonton, just because I'm able to keep an eye on things a little bit closer. Exactly. And I think as the first expansion, I think that would really make sense for me at this moment. And then once I go through that first experience of running the second shop, I think collectively between the shop that we run now and the second shop and whatever else, financially ways that I'm making money, I should be able to fly into the cities of that store or other stores. I just want to make sure that I'm able to get there, and that all comes with money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I have a question about, you were talking about real estate earlier. Would you ever think of owning the franchises and then having people run businesses out of it and paying you rent kind of thing?
There's so many different ways to cut it, and I highly doubt that every one of them is going to be the same. Oftentimes, when you don't know exactly the answer, sometimes you just have to try and see
what happens, right?
Because even having mentors that have been through it, depending on the business that you're running, it's hard for your mentor to say exactly how things are going to pan out because every business is so different. I've had mentors that I put questions out to them depending on a certain circumstance I'm going through, and they're just like, I don't know. And sometimes yourself, you can make a better decision just because you know what's going on. You're there every day. Even if you try to explain to them so clearly your issue, sometimes you can make the best decision yourself. And I think that comes with having a clear head. The meditation and yoga, like I was saying.
Yeah, I actually want to relate to that. So the meditation, do you think that's helped you? Like, I don't think people realize that, but I'm curious to think that as a business owner, do you think that it's helped with your decision making? Because I think especially in today's world, we're also clouded in our head. I think that carries forward to decisions that we make in businesses, relationships, and life in general.
Focus
so do
too.
you think, focus as well. Do you think meditation has cleared that up in your head a lot? It has to help.
Yeah. I don't meditate. I do yoga, and I consider parts of the yoga practice being meditation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Has anybody here meditated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys enjoy it?
Every day. I mean,
It helps. It's hard sometimes.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's like hard to focus, and I think it's a bit like for me personally. I think my mind's it races too fast for what I can handle sometimes.
Okay.
So when I'm meditating, I think being in a quiet place actually, I have thoughts that are running more negative and more faster. So I've been trying to like bring them back together. So it's been a little bit of a hard time kind of do that, but I've been recommended to meditate a lot, like 10 minutes at least.
I would like to start meditating on top of the yoga.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it yet, but I think with intention, I definitely should be able to do that. And if your mind's racing and you're feeling any sort of uncomfortableness, just know that it's working. It's the same as going to the gym. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and you have to get through that uncomfortable process to reap the benefits. So it makes total sense, and you know, same as doing yoga. If you're trying to do a pose and you can't breathe or it hurts, you know, keep going, and eventually tension will be released in certain areas that you didn't even know. And with those tension releases, your body's all kind of one machine. So it just helps in stressful situations. It helps with decision making. It helps with anxiety. All that stuff that comes with a startup.
Yeah, no, I think definitely meditation, it's in general, it just clears it up. I think I was always very against it. I think when I was younger, maybe I didn't realize it. I'm like, you know, like I was always told, because I have that kind of, like my mind just like it works in a different way, I think, to myself, of course, right? So like to control my thoughts and all that stuff, like I think it's been better, but it's definitely a lot of work to kind of contain your thoughts with meditation. So
I don't think you're alone on that. Like everything is so hypersensitive, and there's so much advertising, and there's so much stuff taking our attention, and the amount of food that's out there and substances that are out there. We're not living like we were created to be.
Exactly.
We're living in this utopia, and in some sense,
the attention span is
well, in some senses we're being kind of tested on, you know what I mean? Like giving everybody phones and having everybody hyper connected, and you know, giving everybody all these likes and this instant gratification. And then, you know, you see when TikTok came, if people weren't blowing up on TikTok like they were, it wouldn't have came off the ground.
Do
so
you have TikTok?
We do. We started a Shoe Shine Shack one. I think we got like 7 videos on there.
Yeah, but personally,
I don't.
You don't? Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think I've looked at TikTok. We have it, and I'm trying to post it, but I've never scrolled through TikTok in my life.
I can't.
But I think from a business perspective, it's one of the best things out there, though.
You can definitely capitalize on it. Yeah.
To capitalize on your business, like a lot of people that I've been seeing and connected to as well, like your e-commerce brand and all that stuff with TikTok. It's a matter. It's just like it's good in a way because it's so like easily accessible for everybody to watch it, but also bad because we're consuming so much stuff. It just depends what you consume, right? So like I think TikTok in a way, it actually helps me a lot because I find a lot of information that I'm not curious about, or like I'm into just like crypto stocks and all that stuff. So getting those updates real quick from guys that are like really educated, making those short videos, but like that, I think it helps a lot. If you're consuming that, if you're consuming stupid stuff, then I mean that's different. But I think
it's nonsense. Yeah.
I think, but business, just from a business perspective, though, TikTok's like it has crazy potential to really like make so much money off it. Definitely.
And to remember to use social media as a tool and not necessarily using it as a hobby.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. As long as you use it as a tool, I think it does wonders for you.
Yeah.
And you market it right, especially in the world today.
Exactly.
Same with Twitter too. I think Twitter has immense potential.
Yeah. Do you have Twitter?
Yeah, I have Twitter. Yeah.
I should get
personal brand building in Twitter. It's like super important. I think it's easier too.
Okay.
Like just post. Like I mean, you're sitting on the toilet, you just tweet something, you think about it randomly. I mean, And like it's like if the more authentic you keep it, I think people really like to kind of see that
Yeah.
side of you. There's like a small Twitter side, like with a bunch of young guys, like called Money Twitter.
Okay.
You've got like all these young guys that are like hustling, running e-commerce brand sales, just like no school stuff, but they're doing what they actually believe in. And that's like they just kind of post their thoughts and just gain like a big following based off that.
Nice,
And that ended up
nice.
me joining a group where it was like a lot of people that are around the world, just instant connections, just like that. And I think
It's the
something
time and
like-
effort you want to put into it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're about to start putting a lot more effort into social media and to marketing and whatnot. I had a personal Twitter back in college. I don't use that anymore.
Yeah.
I've thought about, you know, getting a Shoe Shine Check Twitter. I thought about, you know, jumping back on there personally. But what it comes down to is I'm often sacrificing time with my family, sacrificing time with my dog, my partner, the gym, you know. So if I'm sacrificing all these important stuff, I'm not about to take a social media platform and put it in front of them. It's like, I got to get that in check first, and then maybe later on I can jump more on social media, because I do like it. I like creating content. I like taking photos. You know, I'm starting to learn how to edit videos, because I had a couple of video editors that it didn't feel like it was really jiving with what I was trying to put out. So
How's that going for you? Just curious.
video editing?
Yeah.
Good. Really, I'm really enjoying it. My buddy showed me an app called CapCut.
CapCut. Okay.
CapCut, yeah, it's a really good free video editing software, or app, I should say. And I'm just having fun with it, just trying to learn, you know, the transitions and the sounds and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. So,
Yeah.
and the only way to get better at something is to go out there and try and keep failing and asking questions. So what I can do now compared to 3 months ago, even before, I didn't even know that CapCut existed. I never edited a video, and now I could put something together, and I'm starting to hone in on the style that I want to put out. So
Exactly.
I'm glad that we're going through that transition of almost being scared of shooting videos and editing them to being more excited for it. And that the only way that I got to that was diving into it and, you know, feeling that same as whenever you study, same as when you lift weights, you feel that stress, you get through that and you start to reap the benefits.
Yeah, trial and error. I think that's definitely how you learn the best, I believe. We usually end it off with the last question, which is, what's one advice you'd get, like, not one, I mean, what advice would you give yourself if you were starting off when you started off the business or wherever you're from that, so people that are watching can learn if they are in a place where they want to start a business. So what would you say about that?
Or even if they start your franchise.
Yeah, who knows?
I would have to say, if you're going to start business, make sure that you're doing something that you really enjoy, because it's more of a lifestyle than a job. If you want a job, you can be an employee, but I think if you want to start business, it's more of a lifestyle. It's more of a full-time gig, especially starting out. You know, I'm 4 years in, and I'm still working 6 to 7 days a week. Now, I don't want to be doing that for the rest of my life, but sometimes to move that needle, to sustain the workload we have, and on top of that to grow,
Yeah.
it takes that. Now, if I was just sustaining the workload and not trying to grow, I probably wouldn't have to work as much. So just make sure that you're jumping into something that you feel extremely passionate about. And if you're thinking of a business, don't jump on something right away. I sat on business ideas for 3 months until I checked my to-do list and seen that I had clean all of shoes back to new, felt goosebumps, ran down and registered that business. And I knew if I just sat on, you know, I had time off, I was unemployed, I had money in the bank, I had know-how. So what's the point of rushing that if you can just go through your days and but have intention to what you're trying to start, and then whenever you start it, just start working towards that. Make a to-do list, start checking things off of that to-do list, and if you really have the grit, and if you search for the right mentors and the right education, you can really do whatever you want to do.
100%. I think that was awesome for you to share that. I think people that are watching definitely got to learn something, and if they are in a place where they're stuck to start a business, I hope they got something from that.
Yeah, hopefully Shoe Shine Shack takes off.
Yeah.
You guys got planned out. So.
Yeah, we wanna
Exactly.
thank-
If they need a franchise, they can always hit us up, because
Exactly.
we haven't advertised that out yet, but in the next couple months, we'll start to talk about that out to the public and be looking for good teams, good candidates to take our company even farther.
Yeah, I think that's a dope idea for sure. And we want to thank you for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really
course.
appreciate it, guys, so much.
Yeah,
His
really
socials will be in the description. They'll come up right now.
Yeah, you want your shoes cleaned? You know where to go now. Best place in Edmonton to get your shoes cleaned.
Prime
for sure.
time quality stuff.
New
Yeah.
website coming soon.
Yeah, like you
New
said.
website.
So
Oh, we'll have to come back on whenever the product line's released and we can show it and everything.
we'll
That'd
put
be
it on
so
the
cool.
table.
Yeah,
Nice.
that'd be sweet. And also, I was telling the team that I was coming here, and some of them wanted to come with me, and I was like, shit. One of my buddies wanted to come take photos. The other guy wanted to come be on the podcast, so maybe we can bring a little crew too and make.
Maybe they'll
always-
do one right here or something.
Dude, maybe we'll do yours. You know, bring us some besides slides.
We'll show them. This is a how-to of the Hustlepedia.
Exactly.
But for now,
We'll have like a contest, maybe see who can wash the shoe the quickest.
yeah.
no way you'll bring
That'd
two
be dope.
people. Yeah, that'd be fun.
But yeah, we definitely like. I hope you guys learned something. But make sure you guys check Shoe Shine Rack out. Show love. You know, if you guys want your shoes clean, they have lots of new stuff coming, like we shared in the video. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Exactly.
But,
And you guys could be anywhere on YouTube, but you choose to be here watching us, and we appreciate that immensely. So for now, Hustlepedia out.